everyone. It's been a while since I've recorded a video as part of my tax help video series. I figured it was time to talk about the Affordable Care Act, ACA Obamacare. Now, as if tax reporting isn't already tedious enough and to some confusing, the new forms and the new requirements involved regarding the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, just makes things a little bit more complicated, if you will, and tedious because there's more paperwork that has to be completed. And of course, the poor trees that are being chopped down and processed into paper, well, that's a different story. So I'm going to briefly discuss the ACA, Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, as I understand it. And this is just a brief summary to give you an idea as to what's going on, um, the paperwork involved, or some of the paperwork involved, and what the reporting requirements are. So, as I'm still learning this, I am going to be reading from notes that I have. And I will actually flash a form here or there to give you guys an ID, or I should say an idea, as to what the form looks like. Okay, so now let's just start off talking about the fees. Now, if you, as a taxpayer or any member of your family, does not have health care coverage for tax year 2014, which is the year that you're filing taxes for now, the penalty is as follows. If you didn't have coverage in 2014, you'll pay the higher of the following two amounts when you file your 2014 tax return. 1% of your yearly household income, only the amount of income above the tax filing threshold, about $10,000 for an individual, is used to calculate the penalty. The maximum penalty is the national average premium for a bronze plan under the marketplace. Now, the second amount is $95 per person for the year, and $47.50 per child under the age of 18. The maximum penalty per family using this method is $285. So it doesn't matter how many individuals are in your family, if that second method of the $95 per person is used and $47.50 per child under 18, $285 is the maximum penalty amount that you will be dinged with for tax year 2014, for tax year 2014. Now, the proposed fee in 2015 is higher. And if you don't have coverage in 2015, you'll pay the higher of the following two amounts. 2% of your yearly household income, only the amount of income above the tax filing threshold, which is about $10,000 for an individual, is used to calculate the penalty. The maximum penalty is the national average premium for a bronze plan that is under the marketplace. Now, the second penalty is much higher, $325 per person for the year, $162.50 per child under the age of 18. And the maximum penalty per family using this method is $975. OMG. That's a lot of money to be penalized. And guess what, people? This money comes directly from your tax refund if you're due one. So again, those fees that I just read off are for tax year 2015, which is this year, which means that if you do not have coverage for this year, when you file your taxes next year in 2016 and no coverage, is available, you're going to get hit very hard with those penalties. And like I said, OMG, $325 per person for the year. That's a lot of money. And again, for tax year 2014, the penalty per person is $95 per person and $47.50 per child under the age of 18. Now, you can find out more about the penalties by going to www.healthcare.gov/fees-exemptions. Again, that's www.healthcare.gov/fees-exemptions. Okay, so as far as Medicare is concerned, your Medicare coverage is protected under the ACA. Medicare isn't a part of the health insurance marketplace established by ACA, so you don't have to replace your Medicare coverage with marketplace coverage. It doesn't matter how you get Medicare, whether it's through the original Medicare or a Medicare Advantage plan, you'll still have the same benefits and security that you currently have. So as far as Medicare coverage is involved, you don't have to do anything with the marketplace during open enrollment. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of these forms that are involved now. And this might be important information for tax professionals as well. Okay, if you've received healthcare coverage through the marketplace, whoever the insurance provider is should send you a Form 8965. I'm sorry, not a Form 8965, a Form 1095A. The 1095A is the health insurance marketplace statement. That is the form that you are supposed to show your tax professional so that they can verify that you did, in fact, have health insurance the entire year. Because even if you had health insurance for part of the year, you will get dinged for that part of the year that you did not have health insurance. So that Form 1095A is supposed to be sent to you from the provider if you got the insurance through the marketplace. And again, this form is supposed to be shown to your tax professional as verification. And it doesn't have to be sent with your tax return, but it is used for verification purposes. And for a matter of fact, that form looks like this. Okay, so hopefully you saw that form. I couldn't tell because, of course, it was in front of my face. So, okay, that is the health insurance marketplace statement form that you should receive from the health insurance providers if you got the insurance through the marketplace. Okay, the next form that I'd like to talk about is the Form 8965, and that's health coverage exemptions, because there are some exemptions in regards to your not having health care through the ACA. So the Form 8965 looks like this. And it's a one-page form that you would need to complete. Now, in order to complete it accurately, you're going to have to read the instructions, which I guess it's about 11 pages or so of instructions. It's not terribly hard, but in the instructions, it provides exemption codes to use when you're completing this form, and it also gives explanations as to what those exemption codes are for. So let's see, for an example, let's say if um, you're a resident of a state that did not expand Medicaid, the exemption code would be letter G. G is in George. Now, on the instructions, or shall I say in the instructions for the Form 8965, it gives you an explanation as to what these codes mean. So you will need to definitely read the instructions in order to accurately complete this form. Now, the there must be an exemption. Let's see here. For Form 8965, I'm just going to read you a bit from the instructions. Who must file? If you are required to file a tax return, you do not have minimum essential coverage for yourself and everyone else in your tax household, and you want to report or claim a coverage exemption for yourself or another member of your tax household, you file the Form 8965 to report the claim coverage exemptions. Now, there's also an ECN number that you would need, and that is, let's see what the ECN. I know it's exemption coverage number or something like that. I'm looking for what ECN stands for, and I think it stands for exemption control number or exemption coverage number. Let's see here. I'm trying to find that information for you. Like I said, again, this is new to all of us tax professionals as well. So I'm learning along with you guys. But anyway, right now I don't see the exact um, definition for ECN, but I think it's exemption coverage number or exemption control number, something like that. But you should be able to find out what that is in the Form 8965 instructions. Again, you would use the Form 8965 if claiming an exemption. And for a matter of fact, the Form 8965 needs to be filed along with the return for everyone who's filing a return, even if if they're claiming an exemption, they would need that. And of course, if they have health insurance through the marketplace, that Form 1095A, yes, that Form 1095A serves as the verification form. And tax professionals, it is a requirement that you ask to see this Form 1095A and not just take the word of the individual that, yes, I had insurance and, things of that nature. IRS is requiring that this form be presented to you so that you can verify that they did actually have health insurance coverage. And there's also going to be a number on that form from the marketplace, from the carrier, and that number is going to be input in the return somewhere on probably the premium tax credit form. But there is going to be a number that you have to reference when you're preparing a tax return. Okay, and the next form that I wanted to talk about is Form 8962, which I do not have a copy to show you because the copy on the internet still has it in draft form. So I didn't want to print that up and show that to you. But it's the Form 8962, which is a premium tax credit form. Now, the Affordable Care Act provides a new tax credit to help you afford health care coverage purchased through the marketplace. Advance payments of the tax credit can be used right away to lower your monthly premium costs. If you qualify, you may choose how much advance credit payments to apply to your premiums each month, up to a maximum amount. If the amount of advance credit payments you get for the year is less than the tax credit you're due, you'll get the difference as a refundable credit when you file your income tax return. If your advance payments for the year are more than the amount of your credit, you must repay the excess advance payments with your tax return. All right, let me try to translate this to layman's terms, if you will. Basically, a refundable credit is a credit that will grant you a refund even if you weren't initially entitled to a refund. So, a refundable credit is something like the earned income credit. You know, you're getting money back even if you didn't pay that money into the system or you weren't originally entitled to a refund. So, a refundable credit can generate a refund for you. It doesn't always generate a refund for you, but it can generate a refund for you. And the premium tax credit is a refundable tax credit. Now, as far as the repayment of the excess advance payments go, if there was an excess and if you're due a refund, that excess amount is going to be taken from your refund, is going to be deducted from your refund before you receive that. So the way that I'm seeing this whole thing with the health insurance thing is a lot of people are going to get smaller refunds than originally anticipated because of this health insurance thing, this ACA Obamacare thing. And the penalties are pretty high. Again, for tax year 2014, which is the year we're filing for now, they're not terribly bad, but they're bad enough. $95 per person and $47.50 for individuals under the age of 18. Now, again, for this year, 2015, when you file in 2016, if you still do not have coverage, that amount increases dramatically. So, again, this was a brief summary to give you an idea as to what forms are involved, what the process is for reporting the health care coverage, and how the IRS knows if an individual has coverage or not. There apparently are things in place, and again, the forms that I mentioned are the major players right now regarding reporting the health care coverage on your tax return. So just as a recap, I'm going to go over these forms once again. And the Form 1095A, that's the health insurance marketplace statement. That's the form that you should receive from the carrier that you have the insurance through. And it should have a verification number on it when you receive it. If you don't receive it from the carrier, you should call to inquire about it because that's the form you do need to show the tax professional as verification that you had health insurance for tax year 2014. And again, claiming an exemption, Form 8965. Refer to the instructions for more detailed information as to how to complete this form and what codes you need to use to use on this form. And again, the Form 8962, which is the premium tax credit form. Again, these three forms right now are seemingly the major players in regards to forms and taxes. So again, if you have any questions about the ACA, you should refer to the um, healthcare.gov website, and you can get more information from there. So, again, um, hopefully this information has helped you, and I'm hopeful that it would be beneficial. And as for me, of course, I probably missed saying this in the beginning, but I am a tax professional. Been doing this for many, many years, and again, I'm learning, and the other taxpayers are learning along with you here. Um, in regards to contacting me directly, you can do that through my website at www.audiotaxhelp.highwire.com. That's www.audiotaxhelp.highwire.com. I thank you for listening, and as always, my goal is to help you make your life a little less taxing.